Hey guys, I remember about 5 years ago, I uploaded a video about a Waste of Space car. And that was this game. And today, we're building a spaceship. Are you ready to build a spaceship? I'm so excited. In today's spaceship tutorial time, we're going to be building a tutorial ship. So to get yourself started off, you'll probably want to build yourself a base. Can't help you there. You want to get yourself a piece of iron. Any iron node will do. They're all the same. You just throw it on top of there. You do this because otherwise if you just put it on the ground, it'll stick and you're never going to get it off the ground. You do this, then when you pull that away, it drops. It comes on anchor. Speaking of anchor, you will need one. An anchor as well as a stud aligner. Then you can grab yourself a vehicle seat as well. And then you need buttons, right? We'll go, how about, like, we'll just spawn in 10. 10's good for me. Because you need a button for everything you want to press. Like this. So when I'm sitting in the seat, if I press any of my buttons on my keyboard, nothing happens. But if you go config on the button, and then key button, I like M for anchor, and I use N for the stud aligner. Then when I press M, you can see, I'm pressing M on my keyboard. And it's working. And then the other one, if I pull this away now, you can see how I can control it, flop around. And then if I hit N, it'll line it back to the grid. And I can still build on it again. It's really nice for like parking your ships really nice and neat. And then for propulsion, you can use either rockets, ion rocket. Yeah, you can use rockets, ion rockets, or regular thruster if you're Chad. The ion rockets are probably the cheapest. It's going to be your best option, considering you'll be building 3 of them anyway to build a hyperdrive. So you could just build yourself 4 of them while you're doing that. Star map, you'll need one of those. Air supply and a gravity generator, as well as 3 polysilicon, a switch. You'll need roller. So the thing is with the buttons is you can actually get more like connections on here the smaller you make it. So you can bring it all the way down to like 0.5 size. You're able to fit it on there. Good luck. Oh! Alright. So you'll take your controller. You'll just throw that back here for now. We're going to use the ion rocket because that's the one I mentioned earlier. You'll also need trigger wire because the way the switch works, you're going to be sending a signal using the button. And it's going to go through the trigger wire to the switch. And when you hit the button on your keyboard, signal, it'll turn on. And you'll have, like, your battery is connected to that switch. So then, when the switch turns on after you hit the button, it'll turn the jet on. And then, because you also need, the controller has to be touching the rocket. So you can just do that. You just take your trigger wire. This one's to turn on the rocket. So you just find your pile of buttons, and we'll make this side, and then we'll config it. So I want this to turn on my engines, so I like F for that, because F is F for fly. And really simple is you can just stretch it out until it touches. Now any other trigger wire touching this button will also activate though, and that goes for any other trigger wire touching a trigger wire. You gotta watch out for that. To make the vehicle seat control the controller, take your stack of buttons. We'll need 2. One for activate and deactivate. Accelerate and decelerate. Now, it's okay if the buttons are touching, though. But I don't want the polysilicon to touch. Pink is for activate, and then blue would be deactivate. And then usually I set deactivate to S, so decelerate and accelerate, WS, walk forward, backward, that's what I like. And then I go vehicle seat, mouse, because now when we unanchor it, click and drag, it moves with my mouse. And this is really helpful if you're like aiming with cannons. You got like cannons on the front, you're shooting somebody. It's helpful for that. Okay, so in order for the trigger wire to interact with the switch, you need polysilicon in between them. Yeah, there we go. And because I put it on flip-flop mode, flip-flop, I click it, now it's on, I click it again, now it's off. So now, I can hit F to turn the jet on, and I can press W, and I can keep going faster until 100. That's the top speed, for the ion rocket anyway. So this is how fast you'll be going at max speed. Now, if you're a real Chad, what you'll do is forget the ion rocket. You'll take a thruster. Don't forget it has to be touching the switch and the controller. Usually you just like overlap them, that's fine. And then we'll go ahead and size this up. Because the bigger the thruster is, the faster it goes. And it can go up to 500 studs a second at its max size, at max speed. But we'll go with something like that for right now. There we go. That's max speed for something that size. And you see that's kind of like, it's okay if you're just traveling through here. If I wanted to travel from here to that island, it's gonna take me a good minute just to get there. And you know, that's unacceptable. And that's at top speed. That's unacceptable. And for something of this size, especially when something so much more compact exists, something like a oh, I don't know, a rocket. So what you could do is you could take the rocket instead. Now there's a catch with this because the rocket consumes gasoline. And to get gasoline, you need to build extractors on the face of a rock that extract oil. And then you pump those into refineries. That refines it into gas. And then you'd have to put it, every time you come to the planet, you have to refuel like that with transporters into tanks. You have to fill tanks, full 10 by 10 by 10 tank. So you actually have to put a valve in place of the switch for the battery because you're not actually using battery power, you're using gasoline. And the valve will act like a valve. Just do that and then drag that back there. And this just has to touch the valve. I'll put it on this side because I'm going to show you. There we go. And here's top speed. Now this is noticeably faster. But you might be wondering, well, how fast is that? Well, I can tell you it's 500. But maybe you want to see. Maybe you have an idea for the inside of your spaceship. You can get yourself an instrument. See, at top speed, just one of these is 250. So I lied earlier when I said 500. I meant for two is 500. Which is probably what you'll end up wanting to use anyway. Why would you only use one? What are you, a loser? So you get yourselves two rocket. And away we go. Now that is absolutely noticeable. Now every time you add a rocket, I guess it just adds 250 max speed. So I think that's absolutely worth it. Look how fast we're traveling. There's someone's stuff down here we're gonna go visit. What is that? It's a light. Alright, so now that you've sorted your movement problem, we can finally address the movement problem in a bigger way, such as the hyperdrive. Now, for this one, you want optimal hyperdriving. What you'll do is put it somewhere on your ship that is going to be right next to your star map and your telescope. Because if you're able to make them all touch each other, something really neat happens. Rather, if they're all touching the star map, something neat happens. And that is that every time you click on one of these planets or stars, it will actually update the value inside of the hyperdrive and the telescope. Yeah, it's the red star. If I click on the black hole, That works for planets as well. There's the Earth-like with the coordinates. And then don't forget you have to power your hyperdrive as well. And then we can take a button. Everybody loves buttons. And set a keybind to warp. I like T. Now your ship is missing a air supply, because you will definitely suffocate in space. I've tried it. It's not fun. And a gravity generator, in case your dumbass tries to get up out of your seat in space. It doesn't work. There's no gravity up there. You just kind of float away. Then the next thing you're going to want, in case all else fails and you somehow manage to die, a spawn point. Now, if you're a really unlucky individual and somehow manage to die or crash after dying, and you have to reload the game and it doesn't know where you died, you might want a cloning bay. Now, there is a weird bug with these where they just won't work sometimes, but I've found a surefire way to make them work every single time. I mean, after doing this, I haven't had an issue with it at all. And that is, I would take a fully charged power cell, place it exactly like this. The cooling bay has to go exactly like that with the side touching it. You do it like that, it won't work. You do it like that, I don't know, I haven't tried that. What I have tried, and it has worked every time, is putting it exactly like this with the face touching the side of the cloning bay. You find building on here not that good. Like the movement, you drag the tool, it kind of like snaps around, but it's not on the right grid. I feel like maybe building in Roblox Studio would be easier at this point. Well, good news. All the models of things. Here's a ship I built in Studio. You can see it's a lot more organized. And you might notice these are a lot smaller than you can make in the game. You only make it 0.5. These are a 0.25 scale. This is half as small, half the minimal, half the small, double half. I don't know the numbers on it. All I know is it's smaller, and smaller is better sometimes. It's the future. Smaller is the future is what it is. But it's basically all the exact same mechanics. Polysilicon, I have my activate, the accelerate, decelerate, blue. So as you can see, this ship is very bare bones, which is perfect for getting you off of that wasteland of a starter planet where everybody is just teaming to kill you. But this absolutely gets the job done if you're just throwing it together in the game and don't want to dick around with Roblox Studio. Because to get it to work, you actually have to get the model builder, and you have to get an edited version of a copy of the original model builder by the developer of the game. I don't know if you want to go down that road, because their main one, I don't know why the main one's just kind of broken. I can't get it to work. But for today, this will be perfect for my goals, which is getting off the planet, of course, and finding a new planet, a better one, with blackjack and hookers. I like this one with the ring on it. What's that about? Gas planet, we can't go there. What's that about? Desert? Yeah, we can go there. Okay. So we just take off. Remember, I clicked it, so it just added to the thing. And I hit T, warp. I was gonna look at the cool rings, but I guess I can't do that any. Oh my god, it's cotton candy. So we'll just go to full speed here. Yeah. Here we are with my brand new ship. I mean, damn, like anybody could build this. This is easy. And if you do use the rocket, it looks like it actually doesn't use that much fuel. And since it's so fast, you're cutting your travel time in half, basically. Apparently so much so that you don't even need to really... You just need to use the rockets to get a boost, and you can just slide everywhere, apparently. Because they have that much momentum. Yep. Spaceship tutorial. You better know how to build a spaceship after this. If you don't know how to build a spaceship after this, I'm gonna have to make another video.